All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here. Hold on. Adjusting my microphone. Mark here, Mark P Markets. Thank you for joining me for another Bitcoin video analysis session. I know that I scheduled 3:35 p.m., but I meant to schedule 3:05 p.m. Okay, so I just misread the number when I put it in there, and I realized, oh man, I started this. I scheduled this thing a half hour, after this. So sorry about that. I apologize for the inconvenience. Okay, hold on. Okay, so welcome to my stream. If you're new here, here's how it's going to work. First, we're going to go over the economic calendar. Then we're going to go over Bitcoin. Hey, Stian. Hey, Armin. We're going to go over the Bitcoin chart situation because there was a fake out here. Okay, and then I have a surprise for everyone. Actually, it's not a surprise for the people that were watching my stream yesterday over my Discord server. I'm going to show you something really cool once we get into this, after we do this Bitcoin chart. Okay, it has to do with the trade scanner. So those of you that were in the stream yesterday, you know everything. So don't spoil the surprise for those who that weren't on the stream. All right, anyway, so let's get this thing started, shall we? Okay, hold on a second. Let me just press this button and we'll get this thing going. All right, so this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. Also, if you're not in the community and stuff like that, check the links in the description. We have a free Discord community. There's a community channel, a lot of interesting talk in there, a lot of interesting information, thanks to some of the people that contribute, like Alex and Stian and things like that. So good stuff in there. Also, if you're looking for an exchange, okay, to maybe try something new out or whatever, consider Bybit or MEXC. There are affiliate links in the description. Those links belong to Stian. Okay, Stian is the guy that's developed all the amazing technology that we are using, okay, especially when I show you what we have after this chart situation here, okay? You guys are going to be impressed. Anyway, he's the guy that builds all that. So by opening an account and placing funds in the account and placing trades, he gets a small cut. All right, you're better off paying him than paying the CEOs of these exchanges that buy, that you put their kids through school with it. All right, you're better off giving that money to Stian because he does such a great job. It goes a long way into helping him support the community. Anyway, those links are in the description. Plus, I'm still running my special 50% savings on all our yearly packages. You could check that in the link as well. I'll talk about that more in a bit. Okay, so anyway, let's get this thing started. Now, let's first talk about the economic calendar. And actually, before I do the economic calendar, I have to mention something. I'm on Rumble today. Okay, it looks like I'm streaming on Rumble. I never got the error, so that must mean it's working. Maybe if someone wants to go check over there to see if I'm over there on Rumble. Now, here's the thing with Rumble. I thought it would integrate with my chat over here, but it does not. So if you're watching me on Rumble and you type stuff into the channel there, I can't see it. Okay, because I'm not going to have like 10 million windows open over here. It's bad enough I have to deal with like the trading view one, which, by the way, I'm streaming there as well. I guess it's not working today. Okay, cool. Stian, so you know what? If someone types something in the channel over there, just tell them to come over to YouTube if they want their question answered, because I can't see what they're typing. Okay. Yeah. So just let them know that. Cool. If you can, please. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. Oh, if you could do that too, if that's not too much trouble, but again, if it's like a really relevant question, if they're like, what's Bitcoin, then don't bother. All right. So hold on a second. Apparently I'm supposed to be on TradingView as well. TradingView is going to no longer have their streaming platform available. They're phasing it out. So next week, I know I said a week ago I wasn't, but I figured, you know what, it's still open. Let me might as well stick one more on there. They're going to phase out their streaming whatever feature, right? So I'm not going to be on TradingView anymore because they're not going to have a streaming feature. But you will find me here on YouTube, 3:05 or 3 o'clock Eastern time. You will find me on Rumble now, and you will find me on Twitter. All right, cool. So let me just, speaking of TradingView, let me just check something real quick. Okay, let me just check something. Just give me a second. I forgot to do this earlier. Am I on TradingView? Can someone check real quick? Let's see. I'm not. Okay. I can't see that. You know what, Stian? Or someone can monitor TradingView too, because I don't have that window open. That's going to be a pain. Like I don't want to jumble all with all that. We got to do the stream here. Okay. I'm on TradingView. Okay, cool. Because you know what? I don't see that I'm streaming on there. I don't see the little dot on my thing. Okay. Anyway, if you could just monitor that chat for me as well, I'd really appreciate that. And just let them know to come into YouTube if they have to answer something or whatever. But so TradingView people, once again, they're phasing out their thing. I will not be on there next week. All right, that's enough times I'm going to say that. All right, now let's talk about the economic calendar really quick. And then we're going to get into this chart because this Bitcoin is very tricky. All right. So what do we have this week? I looked at the calendar. You should check your calendar every week, the economic calendar, just so you know what economic events come out. Each month, they're scheduled on the same days usually, right? So this week, we have on Wednesday, ISM Manufacturing PMI, which is not the biggest report in the world, but it could be a mover. So you want to pay attention to it just in case, especially if you're involved intraday. Okay, then we have ADP employment report. I believe that's Thursday. The ADP employment report. It may be Wednesday or Thursday. You're just going to have to double check on that one. And then Friday, which is April 5th. Can you believe today is April 1st? On Friday, April 5th, we have non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls is probably the most important economic event or report that comes out each month next to an interest rate decision, okay, or a Chairman Powell testimony. So that can cause a large range expansion. There's no way to know in advance which way that will go. So don't waste your time. What you do is you let the market figure it out. But the goal is to mitigate risk going into the report. So you're aware that it's coming out. It's usually 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you don't get caught in that. All right. So that's the economic calendar. Anything else that you see on the calendar, right? I just focus on the important events. There's usually a lot more stuff on the calendar, but they're minor, okay? Even though they say that they're important, the market doesn't really move that much. Okay, there was a manufacturing number earlier today, and it seemed to have somewhat of an effect because I was watching the S&P, but that's more important if you're a day trader, okay? All right, so cool. So let's make this chart bigger, shall we? And let's make me smaller, because you don't need to see my pretty face all day long. All right, so let's get into Bitcoin here. Now, by the way, people, stick around because the first half of this stream, as you see, we're going to go over this Bitcoin technical analysis like I wrote on my TradingView article yesterday. I hope you saw it. And then I'm going to go over the surprise, okay? And there may be some trades involved. So stick around for that. All right, now, let's talk about this situation. In my article that I wrote yesterday, I talked about the illustration that I drew here was a continuation up into this resistance zone, right? And we started out that way. As you can see here, we had this green candle, right? This little green candle I'm pointing out. That was a long signal, okay? And this is what it turned out to be. It completely faked out. Now, I've been talking about for weeks now that this is an important zone, this rectangle here. It's an important zone because it's a resistance area. And yes, we lingered. We tried to break out a couple of times, and now we have this candle. So first of all, could we have seen this coming? We should have had at least some basic idea that this was very possible. Okay, first of all. So if you were going like full all long and you're like, yeah, this thing's going to 80K, and then you run into this and you're like, I don't understand. You shouldn't run into that problem. Okay, this is a resistance area. Now, my premise was this week we would see a push into this area, the 73K to 76 area. I point, the arrow here represents the previous all-time high. Okay, so I was pointing that out because that's usually where there'll be more resistance, right? A double top type situation. So I was anticipating maybe we would get something like that because we had this lingering at the resistance. Usually when price lingers at a resistance for a while, that's usually a sign of strength. But here we go, right? The market's like, nope, I'm turning around. So how do you deal with this? First of all, you have to be prepared for the fake out. We don't know if we're going to get the fake out, but we got it, okay? So if you're long, this is not a good place to be long in general. Now, let me point out the trade scanner, which is the bot, the classic trade scanner, which is the bot that my bot that sends out emails when there's a signal, called Bitcoin long today at like 8 a.m. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at that I'm like, what was this thing looking at here? So this thing called it long around 8 a.m. That was what? Probably around here somewhere, right in that area right there. And it completely turned to garbage, right? In one candle. Now, I don't have the orders on the chart here, but this probably, I don't know, Steven, was this stopped out? It probably wasn't. The stop is probably a little wider. Okay. I'm just guessing because the way that thing places the orders, I'm guessing that the stop is like probably somewhere in this area. And this is tricky when it does something like this, right? So first of all, look at the triple top. No stopped out. It stopped out. Oh, it stopped out. Yes or no? Yes, it was stopped out. Oh, okay. So that was a pretty tight stop, I guess, relatively speaking. So first of all, so if you took this trade in here, I mean, this thing went straight against you, like right away, right? That's going to happen at times. Okay. Could you have taken something like this up here short? Not on that trade, but there. I'll talk about another possibility soon on how that could have been a possibility. But as of the trade that the trade scanner called, I mean, look, it got stopped out and it's turning right around. You see this? This is tricky. So if you got long, you got stopped out, and then you're watching this thing and you're like, this sucks. It's coming right back. If this candle closes like this, and the next candle produces something like that, the trade scanner is probably going to send out another long signal. What is this, by the way? What pattern is this? What is this? Anyone want to guess? When you have like a low that goes slightly lower, but then it reverses in your face, what do we call that? Anyone want to guess? Stopped out at 68,282. Interesting. Okay. So let me see if I can put that on the chart. It stopped out and turned right around. That's the stop right there. Turned right around. Okay. So what do you call that when it does something like this? What do you call that? Anyone want to answer that real quick? What do you call that? It pushes the low, right? Tries to break lower, brings in all the shorts, and then it does this. Double bottom. Hey, Dom, how are you? Steen says failed low. So double bottom and failed low. Steen is correct. It's a failed low because it tried to break out and it failed to break out. It's squeezed in everyone's face. It's the same idea as a double bottom, but it's not a double bottom. A double bottom would have been, it found its support right here at this low, like near the previous bottom, and it reversed. But we got a lower low. This throws a lot of people off, especially beginners, because they think, oh, it's bearish. Oh, triple top, took out the low, lower low, I'm going short. And then it squeezes in your face, right? So if you were long in this situation, you get stopped out. Okay, it's going to happen. But then you see this. This is a reason to get back in when this candle closes. Okay? Does that make sense? This is not a short. This is a long. Look at this consolidation. This is a higher low consolidation. So let's go back to the daily chart here, right? So I can tie this together. This is an ugly candle, right? But this is still, if this holds and the next candle does not break that low on the daily chart, then basically you have a higher low consolidation, and this leg is still probable this week. So please keep that in mind, okay? Let me erase some of these lines here just so it's a little less confusing, okay? If this low holds, that's a higher low consolidation, okay? Which means one more leg, it can happen. Now, if we don't get that, and it just breaks this support, like the next candle after that green one turns right around and breaks lower, you'll see something like this. Okay, you'll see something like that. If that's the case, then this wave B is confirmed. Okay, right now I have wave B question mark because we got the three legs in there, but it could have done something like this, which still would have been a wave B if it actually failed inside of here. Wave Bs can make a higher high. It can do that. And everyone gets all excited. All the talking heads come out and they say new highs, Bitcoin's going to 100K, blah, blah, blah. And then you get a fake out in here, right? So this, we can at this point consider this a wave B, unless this resistance is cleared. Like if the next leg turns out to be that, then this is going to be a questionable wave B. All right. We need to see it turn and break supports, right, to confirm it. These labels that we put on these charts when we're doing wave counts, they can change, right? When the market throws a curveball that you weren't anticipating. That's why you can't get married to them, right? Does that make sense? So as far as fake outs go, you have to be prepared in these zones, even on a smaller time frame. This little zone in here, I don't have it drawn on the chart because it would just be too confusing. There's a failure zone in there as well. This one that I drew here is a bigger picture one. Okay, it's a larger magnitude one. So here's the game plan. This is why I'm sharing all this. For one, if you're looking for a Bitcoin day trade or swing trade, right, you're paying attention to this current support area, like I showed you on that 4-hour chart. You're paying attention to this breakout area, possible another failed high in this area. And you're also paying attention to the possibility that price can break up into there as we close out the week, or maybe into early next week. Now, once again, I'm not one of these, if you're new to my stream, I'm not one of these like, oh, Bitcoin going to 100K, buy everything. I'm not one of those guys, okay? I'm realistic. I get my ideas from price itself. Like I tell people, follow price, not people. So there's some interesting levels in this area. And as a day trader or swing trader, we need to pay close attention to them. All right. Now, cool. So any chat anywhere, Steen? Any people asking anywhere across the chats? I'm just curious. So that's really like the key thing here. Now, what if this candle stays like this, right? Next candle comes out and breaks. If that candle breaks, okay, if we get the bearish scenario and that candle breaks, for one, if you took a swing trade long on that green candle that just we looked at, you have to get out. Again, you must respect the stops, especially in the system that I'm going to show you here in a moment. You must respect the stops. It's very important because what I'm showing you here is the daily chart, and the magnitude here is large. So this is why you can't mix strategies. Like you can't start out as a day trade and then it doesn't go your way. And you're like, oh, I'll just hold on to it. It'll come back. It always comes back. And then you're caught from a really bad location and then you get stuck in something like this. Okay, that's the risk you take. You don't want to be in that. Now, I'm not making forecasts here. I'm giving you potential scenarios that you have to be prepared for. The market needs to confirm what it's going to do. Everyone comes to this game thinking that we're going to tell the future, right? Everyone wants to know the future. No one knows where the market's going to go. No one can forecast the market accurately. Some people claim, oh, yeah, I called this, I called that. It's a probability game. There's a probability that this scenario may occur over that scenario, but the market has to make that choice. The market has to choose that path, and it's our job to recognize the confirmations, okay? And that's what helps to guide us and guide our decision making, all right? Armin asks, how to navigate the halving? Okay, good question. It was a long squeeze. Okay. Hey, Izzy from Malaysia. Oh, by the way, welcome. If you want to share what city or what country you're from, that's always a fun fact. I usually say that in the beginning of my stream. I'm streaming from the greater New York City area, northern New Jersey. Okay, no jokes about that today. All right. So how to navigate the halving, Armin asks. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to put the question up so people can see it. See, that's what Armin asks. How to navigate the halving? Well, the halving, do you have the date exactly? I don't know the exact date. I know it's like 2 weeks away or something like that. What's the exact date? Anyone? Can anyone tell me? And we'll put it on the chart here. Anyone tell me the exact date? Hackensack. Hey, Zach, Hackensack. I'm like 5 minutes away from there. Not 5 minutes, but like 10 minutes. I'm in that Hackensack area regularly. Wow, that's cool. Hackensack. Welcome. I have no one in New Jersey watches me. No one. You're the first one, Zach. Welcome. All right. Isn't always sell the news? Yes, Will. We're gonna. That's a good point. April 19th. Armand says. Okay, the 19th of April. Let's just put that on the chart here. Let's just put that. Where's the 19th? Let's see. It's like over here somewhere. I'm just going to draw like a little thing over here. It's a Friday. This is Friday the 19th. See that? This vertical candle right there, that's the halving. Now, how to trade the halving? Understand something. So Will says here, Will just put, isn't it sell the news, buy the rumors, sell the news? Yes, that's a very typical thing, and I'm a believer in that. Okay, usually they hype something up, and then everyone thinks that there's going to be some kind of spectacular event. Meanwhile, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So you buy the rumor, you buy all the hype, and then you get out when the actual event takes place, right? That's a very old concept. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So in a situation like this, for one, my first piece of advice is don't get caught up with the halving nonsense. There's a lot of hype. I see all kinds of ridiculous videos on YouTube about, how to do this, and you're going to make $1 billion, and you're going to be rich tomorrow. All of them placate to your greed and your fear, right? And that's why they want you to watch, and they make money from you watching. Now, so first of all, ignore that. Ignore that. Be aware of the halving date, but how to navigate the halving is very simple. Pay attention to your levels, okay? And pay attention to your candlesticks. The other thing is you need to be very specific about the time frame that you want to trade. So if you're looking at swing trades, for example, like I describe here, basically you should be most interested in daily chart or 4-hour time frame, somewhere in that. I mean, you could do an odd time frame like 3-hour or 2-hour, okay? You could do a 10-hour. That's going to be up to you. But the thing is, if you're working from like 1 hour and above, basically you're looking at multi-day trades or swing trades. A swing trade could be a couple of days, could be a couple of weeks long. So you want to pay attention to your bigger picture levels. That's my main point. The trend, there's really not much to define on the trend. The trend is bullish. That's pretty clear. It's been bullish for quite some time. So you don't want to get bearish on this time frame. If you're looking at a 1-minute chart, that's another story. Today is a bearish day on a 1-minute chart, but the overall trend hasn't changed. It's not even close to changing. So what to do? Again, you want to pay attention to your levels. Right now, we are in a resistance zone. So basically, that we should know that longs are going to be very vulnerable here. Shorts are aggressive because they're counter trend and they can go wrong. But right now, if you want to be aggressive, this would be a place to think about shorting, at least on a smaller time frame, maybe a 30-minute or something. You're looking for a small bite. Maybe Bitcoin pulls into there. That's what you have to do going into the halving. Expect less. Look for smaller movements. Don't look for any home runs. Wait for an opportune level. This is the support level in this range, which is 63, basically 64 to 60K, this area right here. And this support here, this area here, that's the next reversal zone. That's the bullish one. Okay, so if price pulls back going into the halving, if price is fooling around in this area, right, then that may mean people are getting out before the halving, and that's an area to consider for longs. Just keep in mind, after the halving, there may be some erratic activity there. Maybe the failed low develops there, okay? But we can't really put like timestamps on these things. All we know is there's probably going to be a lot of erratic movement going into the halving in this area. So your levels will guide you. Expect more from longs, expect less from shorts, but make sure that you're thinking about this relevant to the level, right? So this is a shorting area for aggressive traders. Conservative traders should wait for the long possibility in this area here. Of course, that requires confirmation, right? You don't just step in front of these things. Like right now, this looks like a nice short idea on this time frame, but I wouldn't step in front of this. First, I don't short Bitcoin. I don't short the spot. I don't do any of that stuff. If I'm going to do something like that, it would be, a futures contract. But basically, if you're going to short something that's generally strong, you should do it on a smaller time frame and expect very little. Very little on Bitcoin is 100 points, 200 points, something that's a great win if you can get something like that. 300 points. But if you sit there and think, oh, I'm going to hold this thing to 60K, that's very risky. Right? The more you look for, the lower the probability that you're going to get to that point. Okay. Sometimes it works out that way, but you have to understand that you have to focus on the typical movements. Here's a point that I want to make before we get into my special surprise. People focus, and I get comments from this all this all the time. People focus on this. See this? They're like, oh, Bitcoin is a massive mover. I need to be in that. Right. You focus on this after the fact, right? Because it looks spectacular. You weren't paying attention to it until after this, right? Now, this is an outlier. This is not your typical movement, okay? Your typical movement looks more like this, right? These little jumbly, noisy moves. That's your typical movement. Your goal, especially as a short-term trader, should be to be able to capitalize and profit from typical movement because it's common. It's average movement. There's many opportunities when you seek typical movement. When you're looking for outliers, you're just asking for trouble. This is why people just rather become an investor, because it's just easy. You buy something and you hope for the best. So people that blindly bought, in this area, they think they're geniuses now. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so glad I bought. Yeah, the market just happened to work out for you. It's an outlier. Okay, the institutions happen to pile in at that time, and great, you happen to be in it. Okay, but you cannot. That's not sustainable over the long run. And usually, the people that make money like that, they don't take the money and they give it back. Right? Just ask the people here. Let's go to the monthly chart real quick. Ask the people who got long over here. Okay, and we're expecting 100K, and it went straight to 15K. Right? No one expected that. None of the fake gurus were calling that, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people bought around 40K thinking that's the pullback, blah, blah, blah. It still went to 15K, right? Look at this monthly chart and where it is today. This move is relentless. This is an outlier. That's not normal, okay? So when this thing corrects at some point, right, markets move in cycles. You have bullish cycles, you have bearish cycles, and you have cycles that consolidate. This is due for a consolidation. Markets don't often go from bullish to bearish. Sometimes they consolidate first, right? I mean, this pretty much pulled back. Like that was pretty much went to bearish. But you can also get a consolidation. And that consolidation may be a range that takes up this entire area, right? That goes back to what? 45K? That's within reason. All you have to do is draw some proportions like this. Okay, see that? And this area right here, the 382, is very within reason. That's not even a trend change. That's not even like a major trend change. That's just a pullback on this time frame, right? And believe me, if it pulls back that much and this thing's pushing like 50K, the whole world is going to be bearish. Everyone's going to say it's going to zero, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? You guys see where I'm coming from with that? So, look, we have a red candle up here right now because the month just started. That's the monthly. So that candle has a long way to go before it closes. All right. So you guys clear on that? You guys clear on that? Any questions? More. Mine says 3. That's strange. Mine says 2 likes. So maybe it's incorrect. 26 watching, but 6 likes. Oh, I don't know what you guys are seeing. Is that what YouTube says? Maybe you need to refresh it or something. I don't know. I can't. I see that. I see 100 people watching. Am I seeing things? Maybe I can't see right anymore. I don't know. But anyway, people that are watching, I appreciate it. Press the like button. Press the subscribe button. It helps me. And again, if you're new, welcome to the channel. I even got a guy from Jersey here today. I never get people from Jersey. All right. So you guys clear on Bitcoin? You have any questions? So basically, the idea here was to kind of give you some perspective on how to navigate the fake out, which is what we have right now. Okay. I mean, do you guys have a game plan now? Have I given you that type of perspective? Because that's the whole idea. I want you to be prepared for a number of scenarios. Either we get the pullback to support, or this thing holds. Okay. This thing holds, and we see like a candle like that over the next couple of days. Okay. And if we see the bullish candle situation, then the next area of resistance is up in here. That's where you're looking to take profits. That's where you're looking to get out. That's where you're looking to take aggressive shorts. Okay, upon confirmation. Okay, the trade of the week was a good one. Okay, Steen. Steen is sharing trade of the week. Check this out. Matic, short Matic. All right, let's take a quick look at that. Thanks for bringing that up, Steen. So trade of the week, by the way, people, if you're not familiar with trade of the week, if you go to my website, again, the link is in the description, you can get a free signal every week. The trade scanner, the bot, the classic one, it sends out emails. Well, each week we take one of those trades and we mail it to everyone by email. That's called trade of the week. So it's not trade of the week because it's special. It's just trade of the week because we take one premium signal and we send it to everyone. Each week it rotates. 1 week we have a coin, 1 week we have a stock, 1 week we have a Forex pair. So you kind of get a taste of how it all works. And you get the email with this information in it, where to get in, entry price, stop loss, take profit. Okay. So if you want to join that list, there's a link in the description. It's free. Now, let's just talk about this trade real quick. Let's go to Matic. Okay. Matic, which is Polygon USD. And then I'm going to show you the cool thing. All right. So we're going to go to a 4-hour chart because that's the primary time frame of the Trade Scanner Classic. Right, the bot that sends out the emails. So this is it called it when on 4/1. Oh, that was today at 10 p.m. at 4/1. Oh, that must have been. This must be like another time zone. 4/1, 10 p.m. entry price 99.88. Okay, and the take profit was 96.02. It went there like the same day. Yeah, 96.02 is over here. Okay, so the entry on this thing was 99.88. That is a really nice trade. Man, that caught the top of that move. It's not always that nice. Okay, and the stop on that one was 102.46. Okay, so it's around here somewhere, right? The stop was around here somewhere. Okay, so beautiful trade. That was trade of the week. That was sent out to everyone for free. Okay, again, they don't always work this way. I suggest you paper trade these when you get them to see how they work. But this was a nice move. Meanwhile, Bitcoin was the opposite, right? Bitcoin got stopped out, but Matic was a winner. Now, let me share a secret with you. A secret. You want to know the secret to making money? I'm going to share it with you right now. Make sure you have a pen and paper. Okay, so when you have a profitable trade and that profit is greater than what you lose, you make money over time. Wow. Okay, so you see where I'm going with that, right? When your winners are greater than your losing trades, that's what puts you in the possibility, increases your potential of a positive outcome over time. So that's your reward risk ratio. If you're winning 3 and you losing 1, that's 3 to 1 reward risk. Right? Over time, you're going to accumulate capital in your account. Now, another important factor that people don't really address is sizing and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk a lot about that now, but sizing should always be a proportion of your account. Like if you have $1,000 account, for example, you should not be taking a position size so that if you get stopped out, you lose half your account. You'll never make money that way. Okay. I know greed likes to drive people into thinking I'm going to double my account by next week and all that nonsense. But if you don't stay proportional, you will wipe out your account. I can guarantee you will. All right. Nice trade, Steen. Thank you for sharing that. And nice job, Trade Scanner. Okay, so I just changed the hour to be the New York. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Oh, so it was March 31st. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so there was a time zone thing. All right, cool, no problem. Thanks, Steen. Hey, he makes changes right as we go. All right, so everyone see that? Any questions about that? Very cool. If you want to get trades like that, that's free. Just go to the link in the description, the free signal of the week, right? Free signal every week. Click on that. It'll take you there. Sign up. We have your email. We'll send you these every week. We get one per week. Now, let's talk about the surprise, shall we? Any questions about this so far before I get into the surprise? I'm going to wait 2 seconds for the question. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting, I'm going to change my chart. In fact, let me just put this back to Bitcoin. Okay. Are you guys clear on Bitcoin? You guys know like what's going on? Before we talk about this situation right here, you guys have the scenarios. You have your plan for the week. Let me know if you don't. Let me know if you're confused. I don't want to confuse people. I want people to understand the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario, right? There's always two sides to the argument, and you should be at least cognizant of what can happen on both sides. It's not our job to forecast the market. It's our job to interpret what the market wants to do. And if it's confirming which argument it's confirming, right? And that's what we get from looking at things like price action, looking at things like candle patterns, looking at things like chart patterns, like the double bottom or failed low, things like that. I mean, those are the topics in my training program. All right. I don't see any questions. Steen, do you see any questions anywhere? Because if I don't see any questions, I'm going to get into this now. All right. So if you notice here, on the left top corner of my chart, it says Trade Scanner Pro, Market Signals Pro. What is this? This is the Trade Scanner script that Steen has developed. He's still working on it. Actually, this is a work in progress. It's not available. Okay, so before everyone goes nuts, it's not available. Do you follow news when? That's a good question for people on TradingView. No, I don't follow news. I want to be aware of economic reports. That's why I go over the economic calendar at the beginning of the stream. As far as news, no, that's the question. By the time we receive the news on the news feed, it's ancient. It's been active. Algos. So you don't really benefit from few months from trying to trade. It just happened to move further after the news came out. But usually it's a bad idea. It's going to have you very confused, and especially when you don't know how to interpret the news, or you use logic to interpret the news. You say, well, that was good news. That should be good for Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin sells off, and you're like, I don't understand. It's because there are other factors in play that the news was not addressing. There's no way to know all the factors in play at this, in the world at the same time. Only price can tell us that information. So don't pay attention to news. At least I don't. Okay, it's a suggestion for you. You do what you want. But news is only confusing. You have to understand something. There's price is what's called a discounting mechanism. Okay, and that's part of random walk theory, efficient markets theory. You can look all that up, efficient markets hypothesis. It basically posits that all the known information in the world is priced into the market now. All the known information in the world is reflected in price. So that's one of the basic tenets of the Market Technicians Association, right? CMT. And if you go by that theory or that hypothesis, it basically helps you focus on what the chart is reflecting. Now, understand, though, when we look at price on a chart, this is ancient information in and of itself. We can't see the orders inside these candles. That's really what moves the markets, right? Orders, big orders. Large institutions who have a lot to buy or a lot to sell, they're not going to advertise it to everyone. They don't want people to know what they're doing. So they have ways to hide these orders, right? So candlesticks can help give us some sort of confirmation, but we can never see true reality. Only an algo can probably detect it, okay? We can't see reality. So we have to do a lot of guessing, generally. But all right, before I get into all that, so you see this here. Another question, Steen says, what stage of the bull run would you say we are at? 25, 60% or more? When do you see it reaching a peak? I have no idea. Talking about Bitcoin, the bull run is over. I mean, what stage are we in? It's done. We're at the top. Okay. I have a measurement that I've done. I don't have it here, but there's a zone between 73K on Bitcoin. I'm assuming you're talking about Bitcoin. 73K to 83K. There's a zone there. Okay. That zone above 73K is a large magnitude reversal zone. So basically that area, that 10,000 point area, is a high probability area where the market can peak. Now, I showed you the monthly chart before. I mean, the thing is vertical. We have not seen any type of corrective movement. So to say something like only 60% of the bull run is unreasonable. We're probably at 100% of the run. Maybe it extends, a little further, but I use the wave count in that regard. And once I count 5 waves, the party's over. You've missed it. Okay. So there's not much left. All the potential is out of the market, right? So I suspect in the next 6 months, while everyone else is calling 100K, I suspect 50K. Okay. I suspect a pullback of a larger magnitude because we have not seen that in a very long time. All right. No Bitcoin is selling. Oh, well, okay. You're going to believe him? That guy has been, that guy was bullish from 69K all the way to 15K. You realize that, right? So you listen to him, he's going to have you in buying at any price, the top, whatever. And every time it goes higher, he's just going to keep touting it. I don't know. That guy does not rub me the right way. Okay. Selling. Oh, you said he's selling. Mr. Bitcoin is selling. Oh, I'm sorry. Will, I can't see. I misread your thing. Because, every time I see videos about that guy, you have to own Bitcoin, blah, 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 right? Actually, he talks like this. His picture, his face, he looks like he has like a deep, manly voice. And he's like, hi, I'm Michael Saylor, and you should buy a lot of Bitcoin. I'm like, what's going on with his voice, man? Anyway, is it just me? I thought he'd be like, hey, what's up? I'm Michael Saylor. What are you talking about? Buy Bitcoin. Or like one of those cigarette voices. Buy Bitcoin right now. That's what I expected him to sound like. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy. Buy some Bitcoin, will you? I need to get out. All right, enough joking around. All right, so let's talk about the script. All right, no more questions, Stian. That's it. I answered the questions. No more questions. I have to talk about this. So TradeScanner Pro, this is the script that is going to be available on TradingView. We have to submit it for, approval, but this is the script. So you're like, well, what does it do? This is the TradeScanner that you know and love, except you now get to take the power of it in your own hands and use it at your convenience. This is the 4-hour time frame that I'm on. If you notice up here, what I'm pointing to, here, let me kind of highlight that. Up here, this area up here, see this? It says trend is bullish. Okay. That's telling you the TradeScanner it's telling you what the TradeScanner sees. The general trend is bullish. Okay. So that means you should be expecting longs. You should be expecting long signals. Now, what happens when a signal shows up? Let's see. What does a signal look like? Well, with TradeScanner Pro, unlike TradeScanner Classic, you can use this on any time frame, on any market you want. So you could use it for stocks, coins, whatever. What time is it? Okay, we have like 10 minutes. I wanted to try to take a trade, but all right, let's start looking through time frames. So I'm going to start scanning through time frames, right? This is the 1-minute chart. There's nothing here on the 1-minute chart. All right, let's take a look at a 5-minute chart. There's a trade. Now let's see what this trade is. And I probably missed it. All right, so you see how it put the lines on this chart? It called a short. Okay, so now look at this. The 5-minute time frame is bearish. I just showed you the daily or the 4-hour time frame. It was bullish, but this is bearish. Why? Because the 5-minute momentum is bearish. So this will keep you on the right side of the momentum no matter what time frame you're involved in. But you do need to be cognizant of the bigger picture, right? So we just saw the 4-hour. I'll put it back up there. Look, 4-hour bullish. Okay. We go to the 5-minute bearish. Now, with that being said, we have some orders on the chart here. What is going on here? Let me explain. So this thing called a short, okay, right here. Actually, it was on this candle. So it was like, what, maybe 15 minutes ago? This blue line is the entry. So these lines represent the order placement, just like the TradeScanner tells you, except it's drawn on your chart, okay? So entry price, 69,823, and it's against me right now if I had taken that. Now here's the thing. If you notice, the stop is placed up here and the take profit is here. This removes the burden of analysis off your shoulders. You don't have to guess anymore. You should never have to ask the question, where do I get in? Where do I get out? This is telling you where to get out, okay? Your take profit is here on this 5-minute chart in this area. You see that? And the stop is up here, okay? And it's about halfway there. Now, if you notice, there's a yellow line here. You see this yellow line? That is the trailing stop. So this thing, this trailing stop will move in your favor, right? If this thing starts going your way. So if this candle was like here, like this, the trailing stop will move an equal amount. Of course, the candle has to be closed for the trailing stop to move, right? It's based on the closing candles, the closing prices. Okay. Now, so you see the trailing stop moved a little bit, but not much. So right now, this is basically, if this thing goes straight to the stop, it gets stopped out at the full stop. But you notice on this 5-minute chart, compared to the 4-hour, this area is much smaller of a stop compared to the 4-hour, right? What is this? 69.8 to 70. So this is like what, 250 points, something like that. That's typical of a 5-minute. Okay. A 4-hour is going to be like 500 points or whatever, something bigger, 1,000 points, right? So not only does this give you the confidence to see where the orders are and basically give you some conviction, but if this thing turns into a runner, you have a point of reference, right? Now let me show you something real quick. You can go to this here, the tool setup, the setup menu, right? And you have some settings here, right? The inputs. You have counter trend and you have show trend. In fact, you know what, Steven, I was thinking, when we check counter trend, maybe you can have like a little flag, a little label come up here that says counter trend so people know that it's checked. Because, it's easy to forget that you check it and you forget. Now, when you check counter trend, when you do that, now it will look for all the signals, right? So this is a with the sound. Like let's look at a 15-minute chart. Let's see if there's anything there. Okay, let's see if I can find a counter trend signal. Let's look at a 30-minute chart. Okay, nothing there. Let's try an hourly chart. Okay, so you could scroll through the charts. There's something there. This is a counter trend. You see this? That's not with the, actually, no, I'm wrong. That's with the trend. The trend is green. This is a long. This was called a few hours ago. Right? It was called on this candle. See that? This is a trade that's working. Now, of course, I can't take this now. I missed it. But if I had this open at the time here, look at this. Not bad. Where's my trailing stop on that one? I don't see the trailing stop. This thing should be trailing. This thing is nicely favorable. Anyway, do you see how that works? So now let me take a look at, let's go to the 4-hour. Strangely enough, let's see, does it have the trade in there? So the 4-hour, this was okay. This is the counter trend short because the 4-hour is bullish. Look at that. Okay, so this thing is giving you, this thing is giving you the trade, all right, that the trade scanner would normally call, except you can do this on your time frame at your convenience. Okay, now here's the other thing. The way to work with this, the way to properly, this is going to get stopped out. The way to work with this, though, is you have to wait for a signal, right? We're looking at signals that took place previously. Okay, this is not now. This was 15, 20 minutes ago, or whatever, when this was called. This isn't now. So I wanted to find one that was going on now. How do you do that? Well, you could sit here and stare at your chart, or what you can do is you can set a notification. See this? This thing here, right? On TradingView, you can actually set a notification. See this? And you can set this up and you can tell it basically that, when a signal pops up on your time frame, to send you a notification on the TradingView app, which could be on your phone. It could be on your chart here, wherever it's convenient for you, which means you could set it up, wait for a signal, and go about your business. You have your phone with you. Maybe you have, you can go grocery shopping or something. It goes off. You get the push notification on your phone, and now you're in business. You can do something. You pull up your chart. You'll see the orders. You'll know what to do. You have to make sure you place your entry, your stop, and your take profit. And you have to make sure you respect the stops. Like I said before, this is about to get stopped out. You must respect the stops, because if there's a bigger picture move, you don't want to get caught on that without a stop. Okay. Well, StarCat, that's right. A 50K pullback doesn't mean the bull run is over. Yes, I do realize that. I wouldn't say that the bull run is over, but a serious pullback like that is going to scare a lot of people out. In fact, a move back to 50K would be a good investment opportunity, in my opinion. I find it fascinating how the opinions are where BTC is going Nexstar. I have to say, my hope is that my own take on it is also I realize you could do something else entirely. Okay. The cool thing is that you can do it on the chart of the exchange you use. Oh, what do you mean, Steve? The notification? This thing got stopped out. You see that? So that, and also notice here that the trend changed to bullish. This was bearish before. Okay, like if I go back here, right? If I cover this up on the, if I go to the replay, and I do this, look, the trend was bearish at the time. This is one of those conflicting situations where it conflicts, right? And the trend is in the process of changing. And I definitely want to work on a filter, like in a situation like this, Steen, where it's doing something like this, and this, instead of saying bearish, it can say conflict. Okay, I would like to do something like that. We'll talk about that. Okay, so let me turn this off here. But now it's bullish. So that means, what do I do now? Well, now I'd be waiting for long signals, right? Anything on the 1 minute? Let's see. No. Look at that. You have other prices on Bybit, Binance, and Coinbase. So if you use the trading bot, it uses one exchange. Oh, okay. Oh, the bot. Okay. Okay. So you guys following me on this so far? So let me see if I can find another example. How are we doing with time? I got still a little time. I want to see if I can find another example. Let's look at something like Litecoin. Okay, here's something going on in Litecoin. What's going on? Was this a short? This is a 1 minute short. It was called back here. Now wait, I'm on counter trend still. All right, so that's why I'd like to have a label. Turn this off. Let's see. See the trade is not there. That was a counter trend trade. So going back, if I put that back on, right, counter trend, that's really for more advanced traders. Those are low probability trades. If you had taken this short, it never went to the take profit. Okay. The trailing stop had moved. Look at that. And you should be out of this trade on this orange. That's the suggestion. Right? Obviously, this thing can't take trades for you. This is just a script. You have to place the order, but you should have been out of this. Right? The trailing stop move, which means it was a small win. Right? It was a small win. Counter trend. Does that make sense? So I don't suggest counter trend for beginners. You need to take time with that and understand context. So let's just go back to the trend. All right. And let's look around. What else can I look at? How about something like, let's see what Matic looks like. Right. We looked at Matic before. Matic was a nice trade of the week. What does Matic look like here? Anything? All these things are reversing. Right. All these things are bullish right now on the smaller time frame. The 5 minute is still bearish on Matic, interestingly enough. Okay. Also, we were talking about putting together like a dashboard that maybe can find these trades for you as they're developing instead of having to scroll through charts. Okay. But the initial idea is you just have your time frame, you set up your notification, and you wait for a signal. So again, this takes all the work off your plate. Now, so again, if you're curious, this is not available yet. I'm just showing you. I'm giving you like a sneak peek. All right. What else we got? Let's look at a stock. Or how about Forex? Yeah, Forex. Let's take a look at something like, let's see, what does the pound dollar look like? Because you could use this on anything. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through the time frames. Oh, there was something on the 5 minute there. What was that? Let's see. So the 5 minute, okay, there's something. What was that? This was a short. This got stopped out by the trailing stop. All right, let's see if there's anything on another time frame. Let's look at the 15 minute. Anything here? Let's look at the 30 minute. All right, so I'm just scrolling through the time frames. 1 hour, anything there? No. 4 hour, anything there? Nothing. Okay. This is the British pound. Let's take a look at the euro. The euro is probably going to be similar. Let's see. Anything here? Let's start with the 1 minute. Those lines are lines that I've drawn on the chart. Okay. I don't see anything here. Nothing here. All right. 5 minute. Or here's something. Now keep in mind, time of day. This is the market close. Right. This is a momentum based system. So this is not exactly a good time to be looking for trades. Okay. We're at the close of the US markets, 4 o'clock. So what's going on here? This is the euro on a 5 minute. It was a short. It was called the short back here. Interesting. And it was worth something, not a whole lot. And it got stopped out by the trailing stop. Now, this was a small losing trade. That was the losing trade. You see that? So no need to hold it all the way up to here. No need to. Your risk has been reduced. You have to respect the stops, though. So I showed you a few examples here. Do you see how this can be useful to you? You don't have to guess. You don't have to sit there and wonder, what do I do? Now, if you're unsure and you're like, I don't want to take the trailing stop. All right, well, then you have the stop. You have to get out at some point, right? If it's a losing trade, it's a losing trade. You're going to have losing trades. If you wonder, well, how does this thing do overall? You can see the results page. If you go to the Market Signals Pro website and you click on results, you'll see 3 tables of cryptocurrencies, you'll see Forex, and you'll see stocks. And you'll see the 4-hour, that's the 4-hour time frame. You'll get a sense of how this thing performs in general. Okay, so it's hard to find a trade right now at 4 o'clock at the market close. Really, an ideal time to be doing something like this would be, 9:30, the market open. Like, let's take a look at the S&P. Like, you could use this on CFDs like this. Let's take a look at what time frame is this? It's the 5-minute. Let's start with the 1 minute. Any trades? Let's see on the S&P. The S&P just closed. Let's see, 5-minute, nothing. Let's see, anything on the 15-minute? Anything on the 30-minute? Not seeing anything. Anything on the 1 hour? Nope. Maybe let's take a look at counter trend. Let's see if there's anything there. I just want to show examples because obviously I'm not going to be able to take a trade now. So I have counter trend back on. Let's go look around again. Anything here? Let's see. Oh, there's something on counter trend. Okay. What's the story here? So it called a counter trend short on the S&P a few minutes ago. This is the minute chart, 1 minute chart. And it called it here like maybe 3 minutes ago. Right? You see that? At 52.37. It's got its take profit here. It's got its stop up here. You see that? That's a counter trend trade. Now, again, I don't suggest flipping that thing on and off and then looking around for trades. You should just stick to your 1 or 2 markets in the beginning and just wait for a signal to develop and then take the signal. Do you see the value of that? I know I'm kind of going through some of these things really quick, so it may be hard to understand. There was just a raw signal on Bitcoin 4-hour. Okay, let's take a look. So again, but understand the value of this. It's laying out the orders for you. So like I said, there's no wondering. The main skill here that you're learning is how to manage the trade, not have to spend years trying to figure out how to develop a setup that works over time, right? It takes at least 5 years to learn something like that or to figure that out. It took me longer than that. So this essentially, in my opinion, shaves 5 years off your learning curve, number one, if you have a tool like this. And for 2, you're focusing in on the management part, right? So it really changes things, especially for a beginner. You just have to understand some of its basic nuances so that you don't take like a million trades and you get stopped out a million times because you're all over the place, right? A very common mistake for beginners that I see is they trade for multiple reasons every time. Like they're never in it for the same reason. I'm going to pull up the perp, Bitcoin perp. They're never in it. They never take trades for the same exact reason every single time. All right. They're all over the place. I guess I'll use BitGet. I'll use Bybit. How about Bybit? Okay. Dean said on the 4-hour chart. Let's take a look. He said a signal popped up. I don't see one. Is a signal here? Maybe I need to use another exchange. There was just a raw signal on the 4-hour. Oh, I guess it went away. What happened to it? Was it a counter trend? Oh, maybe was it this? No, it wasn't that. That was from a long time ago. Okay. So maybe it's on the 3-hour. Let's see. Maybe it's on the 2-hour. There it is. You can scan the time frames like this. It was filtered out. Oh, okay. I found it on the 2-hour. This is basically the. Oh wait, what is this on the 2-hour? The trade was here. Why is the trailing stop here? This was a long. Does this thing need to reset or something? All right, I'll go back to the 4-hour. He said that it was filtered out. Okay, so maybe it'll come back on the 4-hour. So again, the point is, it's reducing the amount of work you have to do. It lays out the orders for you. You could set up notifications. I mean, guys, tell me, what do you think? I'm showing you, I'm giving you a sneak peek here of this tool. Like I said, it's not available yet, and it's going to be available. Like it's still under development. He's still making some adjustments to it and stuff like that. So it'll be out. I'm expecting maybe in the next week or two. We still have to submit it. We still have to refine it a bit. There's a couple of things that have to be done, but you're seeing the prototype. You're getting a basic idea, right? So it's the trade scanner, except you can use it on any time frame, any market. You could use it on counter trend. We're working on a feature where when we have an update, where it can give you like a pre-signal, like let you know that there's a higher probability that a signal may be showing up soon. Things like that. The trailing stop in your version is not yet fully correct. Okay. See that? I'm working with a prototype. Yeah, this isn't the full version. He just gave me something that I can play with so that I can give him feedback, and then also I can show you. That's why I'm doing this, right? So on this he's referring to this on the 2 hour. This trailing stop should not be here. That should not be there, right? So he's saying that this is not fully functional. Okay, no problem. But there's a trade here. There's no point in taking this now, but there's a trade here and the orders are set up, right? Stop is over here. Okay. The entry is the blue line here and your take profit is up here. Once again, there's no guesswork. It's all done for you. Now, the trade management part, yes, it helps when you can read context. You shouldn't just blindly follow any signal, any signal generator, because there's always context that you have to be aware of, right? Like the general trend, levels, if there's a pattern in play, things like that. That helps. What this does is it gives you a consistent entry or exit. Like you could probably use this in conjunction with other systems. I haven't done that, but you could probably do that. Okay. Also, like an argument for counter trend, for example, if you're in a more advanced trader and you know, for example, that, the 71K or the 70K area is a major resistance for Bitcoin. If you get you put counter trend mode on and you're waiting for a counter trend signal on a smaller time frame, perhaps a 5-minute, perhaps a 15-minute, and you're in the location where a counter trend signal would show up, you're waiting. That's your confirmation. It pops up. You're good to go. You have your orders. You have your expectations in line. You can work with that, right? Assuming you're going to respect the orders. If you sit here and say, okay, I'm not going to stop out, I'm just going to let it ride, then you're asking for trouble. Okay. Respect the stops. Okay, cool. Oh, cool, Howard. I'm glad you like it. So again, this is the same thing that you're getting when you're a member of Market Signals Pro, right? But you're getting this by email and but you're getting a limited version, right? It's the 4-hour chart and it sends you emails. The script opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. Okay. You do this on your time frame. If you want to day trade with it, that's up to you. Also, we're going to have a setting where you can change the reward risk, right? This reward risk that you see here, this is 1.5 to 1 reward risk. It's fixed. That's the initial setting, right? And the classic trade scanner, that's what it's fixed at. This version, you'll be able to input your own reward risk. So if you want to do 1-to-1, great. It'll place the orders at a 1-to-1 reward risk ratio. But if you believe that there's more potential in the trade, let's say it's a trend trade, it's a Bitcoin, it's at the bottom, it's at a low, and you're like, I want more. I'm going to see if I can get more than 1.5 to 1. You can switch it to 2 to 1. It'll place the orders 2 to 1 wide, 3 to 1. Okay. And the other great thing is this trailing stop. You can't see the example here, but as you know, when Bitcoin runs, sometimes it never pulls back. And if you get out too early, you get frustrated because, this thing ran 1,000 points and I only made 200 points. That sucks. Well, that's the point of the trailing stop. We'll have a function in there where you can activate it after the take profit is reached, and the trailing stop will follow the price until the trailing stop is touched. That's an excellent reference point because if you catch a runner, right, that's where a 1.5 to 1 reward risk suddenly becomes 6 to 1. Right? It's not always going to be like that, but the opportunity then exists. The possibility becomes available at that point. And like I said before, the way you make money in the long run is you win more than you lose. So yeah, you're going to have losing trades. If you're losing small, right? Like if this gets stopped out at the halfway point, if I get out at the halfway point and I keep doing that, but then I catch a winner, a full winner, that's like 3 to 1 reward risk. So over time, if I'm doing that and I'm not like getting into too many trades, because again, you don't want to take 10 million trades. You want to be somewhat selective. You should be able to come out ahead over time, right? Like it should increase the chance that you can come out ahead. I can't guarantee that it's going to make you profitable because I can't guarantee that. It's the market. The market's highly random. Also, if you do things like not respect the stops and stuff like that, you're going to have problems. Okay. Or if you're new and you're jumping around and you're trying to trade 10 million things, a tool like this, you realize you could watch 10 markets at a time. Right. I mean, at some point I'll pull up like 6 charts and we'll run it on 6 charts and see where a signal pops up. Okay. Right now I'm just jumping around from chart to chart, but we're going to make that process more efficient as well. I just wanted to share this with you guys and show you, what's coming, what's on the horizon. Okay. I was hoping to take a trade, but I guess I'm not going to be able to. All right. But trust me, I'll be showing more of this as we go. So again, if you're curious, what is this? There's no signal on the 1 minute, on the 1 hour. It's only on the 2 hour for Bitcoin. This is the Trade Scanner Pro, as you can see, and this is the prototype of the script that we're going to be making available soon. By the way, if you're an active investor member of mine, this is free. This will be. I'll send the invite to all of my active investors if you're an active investor. Okay, and on that note, check the link in the description. If you want to become an active investor, you can still save 50%. I'm running a spring break special, a sale. You have until tomorrow. We're going to remove the sale tomorrow. So you have all day today. If you want to become an active investor, you're saving like $450 or something like that. It's 50% savings. You could still jump on that today. And like I said, my active investors will get this for free, no extra charge. This thing will have its own, it'll be its own subscription and stuff like that. But active investors will just automatically have it. All right. Once we have all that set up, I'll be able to send you the invite and all that, and you won't have to pay extra. Okay. So you'll have the Trade Scanner Classic. It'll still send you emails, but then you'll have this, which you can set up your own notifications if you want to, and you can really take this into your own hands and shape it to your preferences. I mean, you could use this on a daily time frame if you want. You could use it on any time frame. Okay. Any questions? Kai, hey Kai, what percent do you put the trailing stop in BTC? What percent? Industry standard is usually you're risking 2%. This should represent 2%, or maximum 2% of your account per trade. Maximum. You don't have to do 2%. You could do 1%. You could do 0.5%. It's going to depend on how risk adverse or how your risk appetite. If you're risk adverse, obviously, if you're more conservative, you're going to do like a 1%, 1.5%. If you're more aggressive, 2%, maybe 2.5%. You really should not be risking 5% of your account in a trade. You should not be doing that. Some people do it, but it's a bad idea. The industry standard is 2%, right? So that's going to depend on your size is going to depend on how much money is in your account. Like for example, on $1,000, if you only have $1,000 in your account, okay, what's 2% of $1,000? $20. That's hardly anything, right? $20, which means you'd have to take a position so small that if it goes to this stop, you're only losing $20. And you're like, yeah, but if I win, I'm going to win like peanuts. Yeah, exactly. But it's about the risk, not the win. If you take bigger risks on your $1,000 account, chances are you're going to wipe it out. Like if you're risking 10% per trade and you lose $100, you can only lose it 10 times. You can only have 10 losing trades and you're wiped out. Okay. So that's an important point. Don't worry. I'm going to make training videos and like basic training videos that will be available to people who have this, and just on these basic concepts, like I just explained, this position sizing, context, some basic things, setting this thing up, knowing how to use the counter trend mode and stuff like that. I'll cover all those things like basic setup, what to expect, using the notifications, because using the notifications is a key aspect of this. Okay. I honestly, I don't want to sit in front of a chart for an hour waiting for one of these signals to pop up. I would rather set a notification and get the pop up on my phone and then address it so I can go do something else, and I'm not sitting there waiting. I can doing something else. 30 minutes goes by. I got a pop up on my phone. Cool. And it comes from TradingView. It doesn't come from us, right? Because you set it up on TradingView, just to be clear. All right. So you guys, any questions? Steven, how does Rumble look? Any questions over there? Today, I had a runner on Euro Dollar that resulted in a 4-to-1 reward risk with the trailing stop. Nice. Steven's been having a ball with this thing. He's the one that put this thing together, but he's having a ball with it. Okay. He's the only one that has it, by the way. He sent me the prototype that I can show you guys. If you have a paying TradingView account, you can even set up the alert on all time frames. Oh, right. Well, so that's a good point. If you have a free TradingView account, you're going to have some limitations. You could run this on a free trading account, on a free TradingView account. You can run this script, but there are going to be some limitations. Like you can't set up more than one notification, for example. So if you want to set up like 5 notifications, you won't be able to. You can only do one at a time. All right, which is a good place to start, right? So you don't have to have the paid version of TradingView. It's not a requirement, just so you know. Some people have that question. Do they have to pay for TradingView? You know, it's not a requirement. You'll still be able to run this script. All right, any questions, you guys? Now, if you have any suggestions, let Stian know. He's the architect. He loves suggestions. Let him know. He's very happy to incorporate things. I mean, you have like an input to the guy that's putting this thing together. And when it's available, like I said, we'll let people know, and you'll be able to, you know, try it out. I'm going to have a 14-day free trial, just so you know. Not 30 days. I'm not doing 30 days. That's kind of a little unreasonable for me. Okay, I know other people that do 30 days. I get it, but I'm going to do 14 days. I think that's fair. Okay, especially for you're not just getting this, by the way, when you sign up. I'm not going to talk about that now because it's kind of pointless. But you're not just getting this; you're getting other things, and I think 14 days is fair. All right, so I'm just looking at the chat to see if I missed anything. Okay, no, it doesn't look like I missed a question. All right, you guys, any other questions? Any questions? See what Stian says? He wants to be challenged. Give him something hard to do. Here's my suggestion, Stian. I want to see the dashboard that lays out all the trades, so I don't have to go scrolling through charts. And I want to see like one by time frame, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, you know, across the board. And then it gives me a little pop-up, like a little check mark or something when a signal pops up, so I could just go straight to it. The thing is, you'd have to input, like it would have to be a user inputted list. I send you, oh, okay, cool. I haven't checked yet. And imagine that, people. Like you could put in all your favorite symbols. Let's say you watch Ethereum and you watch Litecoin and you watch a stock, you watch Nvidia and you watch Apple and you watch Euro Dollar and you watch gold, right? And you put them on your list. And then, you know, gold 4 hour pops up. Oh, I got a signal on gold 4 hour. Cool. And you, instead of sitting there like scrolling through charts. Anyway, here's some information I have to check about. I have to check that. Cool. Is it possible, Stian? Is it possible? That's my challenge to Stian. All right, you guys. I don't see any other questions. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. So Stian says it's possible. Great, because he's the one who has to build it. I'll follow up with that, Stian. So any questions, people? Any other suggestions? Any other feedback? Anything you want to say before I wrap this thing up? I mean, I think I'm very excited about this thing. I think it's very cool. It just there's so many possibilities. It opens up so many doors, especially for like day trades and intraday trades, stuff like that, which is really, you know, the area of my specialty, right? Like that's really where I do stuff. Okay, here, look, S&P 500. Is this a long on the S&P? Yeah, look at that. This is a new long signal. Just came out like 2 minutes ago, but the market's closed. Like, see, something like this would be foolish to take. The market's closed. You don't take this at the close. So you would ignore a signal like this. That's using context, right? This is a momentum-based system. You need momentum. So during slow momentum times, you don't really want to get involved with this. Just turn it off. Okay? All right, cool. I don't see any other questions. So guys, I'm here every Monday, as you guys know. Do me a favor, press the like button, press the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. I am now on Rumble, so you could watch me over there. I can't see what you type. Stian has to like type it for me in here, or you could just come to YouTube and ask me if you have a question. Otherwise, Rumble people, it's nice to see you and welcome. And And again, just as a reminder, TradingView is phasing out their streaming platform thing. So next week I will not be on TradingView because it's not going to be streaming there anymore. All right. So just so you know, you'll find me here on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. All right, you guys. So again, I really appreciate your time. I hope you found value here. I hope you learned something. And if you have any other questions, join the community. There's a link in the description. Let me know. I'll be happy to help you. Also, just a real quick thing. If someone reaches out to you as me and sends you messages and stuff like that, that's not me. Just so you know. There's a scammer running around, or there's a few of them. And I keep getting messages from people saying, hey, have you sent me a message? No, I haven't sent you a message. I don't send messages to people. I don't private message people. I don't call you. I don't do anything like that. Okay. So if you get a message from someone that is impersonating me, I suggest you block them and report them at once to whatever platform they're messaging you on, because they're going to send you a link and then they're going to try to get money out of you somehow. They're going to say something like, oh, I have a special high probability system. Check it out. And then they're going to get $1,000 out of you. So please do not be fooled by that. I can't believe people actually are still fooled by that kind of scam, but it's very common and I keep getting messages about it. So if you get a message from me, it's an impersonator. It's not me. Please make sure you understand that. Okay. I got an email you got an email from me? Okay, that's not me, Zach. In Hackensack. They even found you in Hackensack. It's ridiculous. That's not me. That's not me. Okay, so thanks for pointing that out. People, if you've been reached out by my impersonator, there's a channel in the Discord, Report Scammers. You could put the stuff in there in the Discord channel so other people can see the scam and maybe not get fooled by it. I got an so yeah, that's, please just don't be fooled by it. Zach, I hope you know, I hope you were not fooled by it, and I hope that you were able to avoid that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So even emails, look at that. That's ridiculous. Report that guy. So I just wanted to run through that. Okay. All right, you guys. So again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you're. Wait, hold on. What are you saying? I ignored it. Well, I wonder anyone else got any emails from me? Because the only email you should get from me is the Market Signal Pro, the trade of the week. And that's not from me. That's from Market Signal Pro. That's not from me personally. I don't send out personal emails unless it's like a promotion or something, right? But that comes like, you'll know when that's me. I don't send those out regularly. I hope no one else got an email. Thanks for mentioning that, Zach. I got it. Yeah, for Twitter, there's a lot of them on Twitter. Report that guy. I don't know how there must be a fake account of me on Twitter. By the way, I have the blue check on my Twitter. There's a blue check on mine. I don't know if the impersonator has a blue check on his, but I have the blue check. I don't know if that helps. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for watching.